Flyover Slater film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
Say it again, T. I think you blew out. I don't think you're welcome.
California. Welcome to another episode of Flyover State of Film. Guys, what's going on? I got the boys here. Brian, Yusuf, Joe. As usual, we're going to be talking tons of nonsense. I guess, how are you guys doing off the bat, as we should normally start?
Doing great. Just got back from vacation, rested, energized, ready to go into this fall area, kind of getting spooky themed season.
It's
Oh, it's
definitely
right up
spooky
your
season,
alley.
baby.
Was at ShopRite today. Bought another pumpkin like figurine statue thing. You know, it was like a guy. So I'm ready.
I'm not upset about that. It's right up your alley.
Yeah. I'm
Oh, yeah,
ready.
we carved our first pumpkins of the season yesterday. We're in. It's time.
And you
Decorated
started
the house, got Halloween decorations up.
you started a little like a horror movie watch already.
I mean, we threw on some stuff that we get. It's back. We watched a little Paranorman. I watched a little Halloween documentary. I was talking to Joe about.
Yeah.
Threw on. I have a DVD of old SNL Halloween sketches. That's a
Ooh.
fun
Is it
one.
like just like specialized?
Will
DVD?
Ferrell.
Yeah, it's like a Will Ferrell. It's just like a Halloween collection, but it's older, so it's only up to like
So
late
you don't
'90s,
tell
probably.
that.
Like
Today-
it's not even 2000s.
Today, Laura, I threw on as a joke after work, and I probably haven't put this show on in like 25 years, 20 years or whatever. I was like getting ready for spooky season, and I went on Hulu, and I put on a random episode of Home Improvement, the Halloween episode. Let me tell you, it's the last time I'm putting on Home Improvement.
Yeah, sitcoms, like, you go back and you're like, how did I this is just trash. Like, I'm sitting there watching and it's just like flat jokes delivered directly to camera, not funny, and then just laugh track. Like, it's just,
It was
Home Improvement.
rough.
Home Improvement lives in my head as a great childhood sitcom that
stay
I'm
there.
never gonna
don't go
rewatch.
back. Just don't go back.
Stay there.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
just let it be
We
where
did
it
watch. Now, to be fair, after the pumpkin carving was done during dinner, I did kick on some Halloween, some Treehouse of Horrors.
Well, that's
knocked
different.
out 3 or
That's
4
different.
of those. I mean, just easy.
Different.
breezy.
There's a list I made of on Twitter somewhere of great Halloween TV specials. There's like 25.
I remember last year because we talked about because I was like jump on some of the Roseannes because Roseanne had great Halloween.
They're
episodes.
good.
That was one of the first shows I remember really doing them.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
All right. Okay. Yeah,
So
I mean,
anyway,
maybe.
D23 happened. Do we want to talk about it or?
Yes. I mean, what do you guys want to start with? Anything? Any elephants in the room?
There was a Blippi trailer, right?
There's a Dumbo movie.
Yes, there's a Dumbo movie coming out again.
Nobody remembers.
Wait, there's another Dumbo movie they're making?
Are they doing a sequel to live action Dumbo now?
Jeez.
No
They
way.
are doing a prequel to
Doing
the
a
Lion
sequel.
King. See that? They announced
I did.
Mufasa.
Well, what is that?
That's
The
fucking
Lion
hilarious.
King only with Mufasa. You know, it'll be the same thing. He'll be young. Something will happen. He'll learn to be a king, and then he'll become king at the end. Like that's exactly. It's just going to be the same story. You know, it won't be exactly
Maybe-
the same, but the basics will be just.
You'll learn how Scar got his scar. It'll be like a backdoor
yeah.
Scar
You'll see
movie.
Little Scar. You'll see little baby Zazu. Anybody who could have been alive.
You'll see Bill's
when
car
he was
scars.
younger will be there. You'll see him banging all those ladies and then making the Nala and Simba, who were
Now
like
the
brother and
question,
sister, a little sketchy.
the question is Beyonce like, I'm fucking out of this. No thanks.
Beyonce wouldn't be coming back, right?
Oh, she was Nia.
She was Nala, right?
She was Nala. Yeah. I thought she was the queen.
They're just gonna have to cast a younger voice because James Earl Jones is at that point where he still sounds like James Earl Jones, but you can hear the ages. With Adam West got there too. You get to a certain age, and literally your vocal cords are just not the same as they used to be, and he has like a little like.
Can't they just
you can tell he's an 80, 90-year-old man under there.
Can't they just do the AI thing where he's probably said enough words that he can just piece it
That's
together?
what they did with Darth Vader on the Obi-Wan show, I think.
That's so fucking sad.
They just AI.
That's our future right there.
Oh yeah.
You know who? You know? Have you seen the John Hamm progressive commercials?
Oh yeah, those are sad.
Yeah.
He looks like a CGI composite of John Hamm in those commercials.
I haven't paid close
enough. It's fucking freaky as hell. He's like blurred out.
They're testing out John Hamm. Well, I've noticed for years, and this is a thing that like a lot of movies do and show, like when they do close-ups on people, you'll notice they have that digital makeup that like every line is erased from their face. They look all smooth, like a makeup commercial. And but then in the wide shots, they don't waste money on it, and they just look normal. And you're like, that's what they look like. And then super close-up, and everything's all smooth like a mannequin. So I don't doubt that they're pulling that up more often than you even think.
Supposedly Tom Cruise is like the pioneer for it. Like he's been investing in that since he's like an executive producer pretty much every fucking movie he makes, and Scientology is bankrolling it. Like he's been using it for like a decade now.
His eyes are way tighter pulled and he's puffier, but then you see him in the movie and he looks like old Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
You know.
I didn't see any trailers.
He was showing his age in American Made when he made that movie. Like, he didn't let them put too much makeup on him.
I'm sure when he can use the age to his advantage, when it's part of the character, he'll let it fly, right? Like,
yeah, I didn't really watch any of the trailers. I just kind of was reading, like, what they announced, and it was like, oh, another Ant-Man movie.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton that I got to get excited about. The one thing I would have liked to have seen that everybody was loving that we didn't get was the Indiana Jones trailer. And Harrison Ford came out, like, got teary-eyed. Now, don't get me wrong. It's so funny to watch Twitter be like, hey, I've never seen him this emotional. Oh, my gosh. The dude's an actor. You know, he's professionally been an actor for years and years and years. You don't think he can come out on stage and deliver a line and, like, make you believe that he gives a fuck about this?
Of a character he does like, but doesn't mean he's going to
don't get me wrong.
cry
he cares
about
way
it.
more about Indiana Jones than he ever did about Han Solo. And I love Harrison Ford. We all know. But
you named your son after him.
Like, of course he came out and said this is going to be the best one, and he got a little choked up when he talked about Phoebe Waller-Bridge because he's got a fucking movie to sell. He's a professional.
Also, I like how all these places casted Phoebe Waller-Bridge after her, like, I don't know, like that, like one really like series.
Back in I don't even remember her.
And then everyone's just like, who is she? Like, she was in the Bond movies. Like, she was in this, like, right at the right time.
She was in all the stuff that was cast right before the pandemic, but that hasn't come out till now. So
you're like, her?
Sure,
no. Well, that's like,
I'm sure she'll be good. And I'm excited. James Mangold's directing this one, which it's weird to be like, thank goodness Steven Spielberg isn't on this. But did you watch anybody watch? Well, I know nobody did. The Fabelmans trailer. Steven Spielberg's got a new movie coming out, and that was on D23, and it looks like a real J.J. Abrams nostalgia trip kind of vibe to it. And it's one of those, aren't movies the most important thing ever that people who make movies always want to tell you? So, you know, I'm sure it'll be beautiful and probably be a masterpiece, but it didn't it just didn't get me excited.
It's Oscar time, right, for Spielberg?
Movies are the greatest thing ever.
Spielberg about a little kid who grows up loving movies and makes movies. Yeah, that's gonna get all the Oscar nominations.
And actually, that sounds perfectly right up fucking Steven Spielberg's alley. That I want to watch that.
Very much like a Spielberg movie.
Yeah.
Let's watch that movie.
But it
made me glad he wasn't directing Indiana Jones 5.
The Willow TV show is either gonna hit Or
It's gonna
just be
hit
like,
for me no matter what because I'm a Warwick Davis. Still.
yeah. Well, life's too short to be upset about Warwick Davis. Transitions.
It's a good one.
What?
He's a guy who transitioned from movies into TV.
Yeah, that was a good TV show.
What other TV shows is he in?
There was a show called Life's Too Short on HBO where it was like Warwick Davis trying to just be an actor in Hollywood and
He's kind of
like getting
Curb Your
jobs.
Enthusiasm, but for Warwick Davis, and he is himself the actor and also runs like a talent agency for other dwarves. It's really funny.
Yeah. Topic.
Oh, you guys are trying to transition to a topic the whole time?
No, or I don't know. I don't know what's
when
happening.
TJ is the host, we're fucking rudderless. So what is happening?
Yusuf usually takes over by now.
TJ intros everybody, and then Yusuf just kind of slowly.
All right, man.
TJ's like, I just got home of like a 9-hour to 14-hour day fucking transitioning.
But Joe, what's your topic?
4 hours of it is commute. So
yeah. So I give TJ a pass here. No. So my topic, because our movie this week is The Wizard. For anyone that clicked the thumbnail or tuned in late or whatever.
Tell what our episode's ever going to be about from the thumbnail, Joe. You know that.
Sure. We're covering The Wizard, and my topic is road trip movies. Sorry. Which we've done in the past, but I feel like we've been doing the show long enough. It's good enough to revisit.
This makes me worried to see what we've done in the past, because I don't think I thought of any newer, better answers.
That's fine, because there's so many road trip movies, and I've thought up better answers, so you won't hear me talk about Dumb and Dumber or Midnight Run. So let's start with Yusuf.
National Lampoons. But I feel like we picked that one.
Yeah, well, like that's why we have a pre-production meeting and talk about this stuff all day.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned that you picked Dumb and Dumber, it felt like the floodgates open of that episode, and I kept thinking about all the things that we already picked.
Do you want me to go?
Here's the
Thelma and Louise. I had my second pick. Thelma and Louise. Technically,
great movie.
Like it is a road movie because they're on the road running away from the police. There's not a traditional.
Questionably.
Yeah. Yeah. One of those shining moments of Ridley Scott where he just showcases that he is not just epic. He's not just Gladiator or Alien. He is a great director. He has a bunch of those, but I feel like Thelma is like
that's really outside of what you would call his wheelhouse, and he just nails it. It's awesome movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like Matchstick Man and all those few tiny movies that he made along the way to just build up enough credit to be like, can I have an alien, please? But yeah, that just fucking Susan and Janine, right? Janine?
Gina.
Not Janine.
Gina
Davis.
Gina, when everybody was like, she is the next shit, when she was gonna be the it actress, and suddenly she fell off due to X, Y, and Z in Hollywood. I don't give a fuck. It's sad that her career kind of died, but here she showcases like she could have just been an amazing actress, not only a comedian, like she actually can act, and paired up with Susan, like anybody can act great next to Susan. So not anybody can act great next to Susan. That's what I wanted to say. So it really showcases that she's an amazing actress. But yeah, I love them.
I was a good use of them in the car, which is pretty important when you do the road trip type thing.
Yeah, that is.
There's a lot of good scenes in the actual car, and them bantering, them picking up hitchhikers, them rolling into different locations. So there is like those tropes of the road movie that really highlight how good that genre can be if done well.
Yeah, it's all about that pairing, right? It's like doing a buddy cop movie, but just being like, we're gonna travel. You know what I mean? Yeah, Thelma and Louise right there. TJ, what do you got?
I mean, we've always talked about this. More importantly, when we do talk about this, the Gibbons, not Christmas Vacation, just Vacation. And then it's me and Brian, which isn't necessarily a road trip movie, Vegas Vacation, which is always the go-to. But I want to go into the European Vacation.
Ooh, one of my least favorite movies.
It's
not a fan, Joe?
I think it's underrated.
I think
Stinky.
it's near the bottom of the vacation, but I like it. Like I think
Yeah,
if
which
you're
is
ranking them, I would put it near the bottom, but I enjoy European
It's
vacation.
stinky.
I'm doing it specifically because of Clark driving in Europe, which is
It's
probably
stinky.
some of my favorite little bits that they do. Obviously, the Stonehenge, which obviously in the first vacation they use the car a bit more when you get the whole like scene with him and Eugene
They do a
Levy.
lot of fun stuff in this. They run over Eric Idle.
Yeah,
They got
that
whole thing
stuff
with the
right
being on the wrong
stuff.
side, and then
Yeah,
and
kids
the
love Eric Idle
roundabout.
jokes.
There's lots of good car bits in a European vacation.
You know that
Those-
cheese joke that they really try to fucking hammer home?
Yeah.
Joe, you pretend like that movie doesn't have like one of the greatest outfit montage with the song moments. Like,
You're acting like I remember that.
oh,
I
that's
don't
it. I'm
remember
not,
either.
you're about to get. You're dangerously close to that being my pick for the next episode. You keep this up.
We've
Well-
talked about comedies not being a great pick for the
Well,
podcast.
wait,
I'll put out a revenge.
Well, get ready, Brian, for me to just pick the road trip movie topic again, just in Europe.
Fine, Euro trip it is. Damn, that one's off my list now.
Great, Deuce
Scotty
Bigelow,
doesn't know, apparently.
Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo. Damn.
Got another one. Nailed it.
All right, Brian, you follow it up.
Well, I'm sure that what I said last time was Tommy Boy
Great one.
and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yes.
You and
Great
Black
movies.
Steve.
Two absolute classics. So I know if we've talked about this, I've said that before. I would like to say, since Planes, Trains is a one of the very few Thanksgiving movies, there's another Thanksgiving road trip movie that deserves a shout out. Also a John Hughes production, I believe. Dutch, starring Ed O'Neill and what's his name? Also from Vegas Vacation, Ethan Embry from Vegas Vacation and from Can't Hardly Wait and Empire Records. Anybody familiar? Nobody? Any
I
Dutch-
know what Dutch. Oh
Dutch
yeah, the
fans?
hockey. I know what Dutch is.
Devil's Candy.
So when it's basically Ethan Embry's like a spoiled rich kid who's off at boarding school. Ed O'Neill plays his wife's new boyfriend, who's like a working class guy but has money. Like he's like a dude who owns his own business and has money, but he's like blue collar. And then his real dad is Christopher McDonald, who is a rich asshole because that's all he ever plays in every movie ever. That's
Dutch?
Shooter Gavin for the people who don't know.
That's so good.
Dutch is a rare Blu-ray.
Is it really? I have the
It
regular
is.
DVD. I don't have a Blu-ray.
I don't even know if it was ever released, but Amazon, it's one of those ones of like $270. Like it's one that's out of production and maybe it was done
Anyway,
once.
they go on a road trip. Ed O'Neill offers to pick up Ethan Embry from boarding school. Ethan Embry obviously immediately hates him and makes his life hell. But whereas he's used to kind of like getting away and being like smarter and getting the upper hand and being a snotty little twerp, Ed O'Neill starts giving it back to him and like doesn't take a shit and basically abuses him and beats him up and shit. So it is a little bit of a child abuse movie if you're into that sort of thing, you know.
If you're in-
I
I mean, we watched The Wizard, so that would be very much in line.
Save it.
Now, The Wizard's more about neglect. Neglect and abuse are two different things.
The Wizard is about everyone else forgetting their fucking daughter died and just one kid.
But Bridges alone.
So yeah, that's a great one, and I think we should do after I go a speed round of just honorable mentions because there's so many.
Oh, sure.
I'm gonna go with a newer one, The Long Dumb Road, which is Jason Mantzoukas and
I saw that one. That's good.
what the fuck's his name? Tony Revolori. Yeah, Tony Revolori. And it's just
I think I did see it. Now that you mentioned those
it's
two,
like-
I think maybe I did see a trailer for this.
it's a little
They
more
brothers
dramatic.
or something. in that?
No, they do look kind of like brothers, but Tony Revolori's driving to college, and he basically picks up a hitchhiker in
Mantzoukas.
Jason Mantzoukas, who plays a very Jason Mantzoukas character, but it's a little more human than normal.
Yeah.
And he's just a complete scumbag. And I don't know, it's a very good like slice of life, but like also coming of age. It's funny,
Definitely
but it's sweet.
cast, you know.
Very underrated. I think very worth seeking out. Especially if you're a Zook head like myself. Other one that I picked, and I did see it on a list, but I was like, that's straight up a road trip movie. Talking about spooky season, Bride of Chucky.
I was gonna say in my speed round, The Hills Have Eyes. Talking about road movies
Yeah.
for spooky
Wrong
season.
turn.
Doesn't get spookier.
Yeah,
Doesn't get
Wrong
much spookier
Turn.
than that.
Wrong Turn. The Hitcher.
The Hitcher was a good one, but the one with the Joyride.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Paul Walker one.
Paul Walker at maybe his best.
What?
Jeepers Creepers, but that one's canceled.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one. I find it funny. They were talking about the hitchhiker, the Hitcher we were talking about the pre-show with like those top like horror movie countdown things, and I forgot to see Thomas Howell's in that, but now I could only see him not as Soul Man, but as like this playing a dad in this really, really, really terrible Hallmark movie that Laura and I watched last year, where he plays like a very flamboyant father who, like, in the cheapest things, like, how far did your career fall that you're here?
Far.
Far.
Speaking of good road movies, and one we even did on the show, how about Breakdown? Remember Breakdown?
Breakdown. We've done a few good ones on the show.
TJ.
That's why this keeps coming up. That's why this topic keeps coming up.
Tu Wong Fu.
Yeah, Tu Wong
Fu.
Does that count? Because they pretty much stopped. The road trip part is kind of short.
They were on the
most
road.
of it takes place in the town.
Wild Hogs. I'll just cancel the podcast now.
Get out of here. Tom Green's Road Trip. I probably used to think that was the better movie. But I probably now think that Freddy Got Fingered is the better of those two movies.
Wow.
I haven't seen Road Trip in a while.
I haven't either. I was actually trying to get Harrison to ask to watch it so I can watch it again. It's like, come on. He was talking about comedies. I was like, well, I'll see some of it. Want to see some of it?
Does it say unrated on the cover?
It's unrated. All of my DVDs from the early 2000s are unrated, of course. I was in my early 20s. Why would I buy a rated DVD? I'm a man.
You want to see Amy Smart?
Oh,
I want to see one boob more.
As a fan of Strangeland and Starship Troopers, I was aware of Amy Smart.
You want to see one boot more and one buddy double come over to the unrated land.
One of the sillier unrated that does have boobs in it, but it was clearly put in for this reason, is in the 40-Year-Old Virgin. I don't know if anyone remembers that cut of it unrated. I'm sure there's extra jokes and things pieced, in.
Well, because any of those Apatow movies have like a lot of that, like improv-y shit.
But there's a scene where I think it's a scene where he's like giving a box of porn to masturbate, and it was what was cut before that great "Everybody Loves Raymond" joke. It's like him like visualizing like a real porn star, like. But
it's Stormy Daniels.
Yes, it almost shit. It is.
Stormy Daniels in the movie, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a longer scene with that, and she's like narrating something.
Yeah, and she's like he's trying to use his mind to make her say sexy things, but she like can't because it's him. So it's like Stormy Daniels saying weird, unsexy dialogue.
Yeah.
And if you have the unrated DVD, this is actually really interesting. If you have the unrated DVD of that, there's like some behind the scenes footage of Stormy Daniels and Seth Rogen that is a little uncomfortable in the way she treats him. She's very like aggressive with him, and you can tell I don't think he loved it. And I was just thinking about that. That's all I could think about during the whole Trump thing. I was like, oh, I remember you. You kind of sexually assaulted Seth Rogen.
I'm sure Seth Rogen remembers it.
Yeah.
Every night.
Stop it!
We got a new topic?
Wait, I do want to say I saw Smokey and the Bandit this year for the first time, and that was very enjoyable.
Okay, I've never seen that. I've never seen Cannonball Run either.
I've never seen Cannibal Run. Now we can do a topic.
Now we can, thank goodness, Joe, stop the momentum of the show quickly.
I've never seen a Cannonball Walk.
No,
who's up?
So fucking bad. Brian.
My topic. Which one of these was my topic? Remember?
The TV star.
This is the thing about, so Fred Savage is in The Wizard. And he does have one other film hit, but really once he transitioned to TV, he never got to like go back to being a movie guy. And I started thinking about like how many TV stars think they're gonna like make the jump. They have a show, it does really well the first season, and they're like, this is it, I'm gonna do it. And they do a movie and they get humbled and they go back home to TV. And maybe they're very successful there, but they never quite again. And I'm talking about, this is before Prestige. A lot of this will be probably before Prestige TV. Maybe you guys have a couple more modern instances, but this was a more prevalent thing when television wasn't so good. In the last 10 years has gotten to a point where it's like respectable for a movie star to do television now, but it wasn't always that way.
Even fucking Sylvester Stallone has a new TV show now.
No, that's a movie, isn't it? The Amazon
I was just
one?
watching an interview.
No, he has the King of Tulsa.
I was just watching an interview with Kevin Bacon, and the person asked him, was like, a couple of years ago, you said you told your agent to never mention a TV show, or else you'd you would never take it. And he laughed and he was like, things change.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
shit. Like the amount of money TV shows pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, do you guys have any examples of some TV stars that even if you liked, and even if the movies they made you liked, but didn't quite make the jump? Yusuf, you have your hand up very politely. So TJ.
Oh, yes.
No, go ahead, Yusuf. It's fine.
Zach Braff.
Yeah.
Zach Braff.
Two people then, Brian. You heard two people at that time.
I did too.
Zach Braff for a while was like on top of the world. Like he was always being nominated for best comedic performance on TV. He carried a show on NBC for maybe 6 years, and then they fell off. 5 years probably. He had a quasi indie hit with Garden State, and then everybody was like, "All right, this is the dude now. He's gonna be the new comedy star." And then he just mentioned something.
Well, he crowdfunded another movie or something.
Yeah,
he was one
he
of the
tried
early
it.
to use.
That's what I'm saying. That doesn't
GoFundMe.
scream big giant star either, you know.
Yeah, he was
No,
in
it doesn't.
he was in recently the Disney Plus Cheaper by the Dozen remake with Gabrielle
Yeah,
Union.
and he did
remake of
like
a remake then. So
Yes,
you
yes,
gotta
the third
count
one.
he did also a remake.
It was
He
fine.
did like
He
a
was
drama
enjoyable in it.
remake. Yeah, he did. He's always fine. I've never had any issues with him. I love Scrubs.
I'm a big
But
fan of
he's
Scrubs,
like
and actually, it's so funny. I was just thinking about Scrubs because they were talking about the stupid Joker sequel and how the whole premise is going to be that it's we're seeing the eye through the eyes of Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn, and it's going to be a musical because that's the way she sees the world. I was like, that's a fucking Scrubs episode. That's so dumb.
Yeah. There's a lady that has a brain injury, and everybody it's a musical. It's the musical episode. Every sitcom had a
TV
musical.
shows because they suck and are stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. He had like a drama where like he's cheating on the girl from the OC, the brunette, not the blonde one. I don't remember that one.
I don't know the OC.
Not Misha Barton, the other one.
Bilson.
Yeah, Bill. It was him and Bilson. He's cheating on his wife with her, and it was fine. But that was like his second attempt to come back, and nothing happened.
So
yeah.
Partner, was it Donald?
I mean, he's a director now. He does a lot of like TV work. And he had like he has a career, like he has money.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about, but I'm just saying like some people tried to make the jump and didn't. They did fine.
Yeah, never became the star that it kind of hinted towards once. Like if you compare like the people that were getting nominated with him around the same time, it's like the Tony Shalhoubs and the Alec Baldwins and all those people that have fairly successful career, so you would imagine that he would be either on the same level or higher. And
he comes off smart.
They went movies to TV, where he went kind of the opposite.
It just didn't work, and like it's too late now. He has that young old face now, where it really like it's like you're playing the Steve Martin role in Cheaper by the Dozen on TV, where you're the cool dad who has a sneaker company or something like that.
Ooh, the Jumanji?
What? No, Cheaper by the Dozen.
Actually, is what Joe's thinking of.
Oh no, I know, but your shoe company.
Oh.
Yeah, the shoe company. That's
I don't know if it was a shoe company, but it was something. No, it was like health goods or some shit. It was.
That's the Steve Martin movie where the shoe company is Father of the Bride. That's what you're thinking of.
And she wears the kicks and puts them on and plays basketball.
Your fucking pick.
Oh God damn it!
Your fucking pick, Joe.
I'm gonna go with, and I love this actor, and I think he's great. Film career, been a big dud. Aaron Paul.
Great pick.
Aaron Paul,
good modern pick.
You got so many fucking Emmys from Breaking Bad. We know you're a really good actor, at least playing this one character at this time.
I just watched Need for Speed.
He's a great
I
crier.
would say then he goes to do Need for Speed. I think he did another movie, like another like trying to make a tentpole after that. No one went to see him. But then he killed it on TV because then he surprises us with like being I believe, producer and main voice in BoJack for many years, which is a really like
Yeah.
deep, heavy show that disguises itself as a cartoon. I think he's in another drama now. I mean, nothing will ever be Breaking Bad for him, but he's kind of a bummer pick because he's enjoyable to watch, but just not a movie star.
Definitely. That's a great pick.
I mean, I can almost say the same thing about Bryan Cranston. I mean, everyone loves Cranston, but like the movies he picks, I'm never
he
in
has
love.
some movies.
He's always a good actor,
But-
right?
Yeah, but he's like consistently working. Like Zach Braff and Aaron, kind of like they stopped
Did a
getting
couple
roles.
movies,
They
then
were like,
retreated back to TV.
yeah.
That man probably made more money from the tequila he has with Bryan Cranston than he did
Yeah, that's what I was
Anywhere
gonna say.
else.
He has tequila. He's good.
Dos Hombres. We own a
He's-
bottle.
Those hombres. I haven't tried it.
It's I don't like mezcal, but Laura does. It's a very peaty mezcal.
TJ.
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 Hi guys. Mine's kind of an offhand pick. Maybe Brian might know who it is. Joe might know him just for his tendency to collect new shows on Blu-rays and DVDs. Yusuf maybe, but he went from being like almost the next Urkel on this sitcom TGIF, side character, but then would blow up on screen when you saw him. Anyone ever seen Step by Step?
Yeah.
Cousin Cody, Sasha Mitchell.
Yeah.
I'd have to Google who he is, but I know
He
the show.
was basically that type of character who would come on screen and kind of would steal the episode for
He was
most
like the Kelso. If you're a
Yes.
70s show guy, he was like a Kelso.
Oh,
Big,
okay.
tall, dumb guy, but like handsome and like kind of charismatic and would come
But
in
also,
and kind of.
he was, he was a Taekwondo black belt, and he wanted to be like taken seriously, so he did Kickboxer 2, 3, and 4. And then at the same time, obviously not getting any hits and continuing to do these almost straight to VHS type of movies. Went back to Step by Step and topped it all off with domestic abuse charges, and I'm pretty sure it got dropped off the show and replaced. But it was like one of those things where like this guy could have been.
So he was ahead of his time. That's
Ahead
what
of
you're
his
trying
time,
to
well,
say.
I was
He
looking
got
at
the
it,
right
like,
project, like a
not-
good action movie, not one of the Kickboxer sequels.
Yeah, I
maybe.
just Googled him. It's like Kickboxer 3.
Yeah, and it's also
2,
like
3, and 4.
I was thinking about Jaleel White. I don't really remember any like movies other than maybe playing himself that he showed up in. Other than like I saw him in Hustle with Adam Sandler on the
At
Netflix.
that time, Jaleel White is
He stood in his lane. But
yeah,
played
he's
the
still
character.
Urkel. Like
Cody
'cause
should have been Cody, and obviously not the domestic abuse charges.
Yeah, I feel like Jaleel White and Carlton were so fucking boxed in to those characters that nobody was gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna cast
What else
them
you got?
because everybody in the theater would be like,
the
what
next
the
job
fuck is
Alfonso
Urkel
Ribeiro
doing?
got was basically being the host of the America's Funniest Home Videos. Like, you
Yeah,
had to like hang around to wait around and like, like
It was
that's
tight.
kind of like like the double edge because like you as an actor, obviously you want to be in a position where everybody recognizes you and everybody loves you and be like blah blah blah. But at the same time, if you're so fucking recognizable, you cannot move outside of that box at all.
it's
He
funny.
did get to. I was gonna say he got to stretch his wings out when he got to play Stefan. Which is
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring a little diversity
And then a
to
robot.
this conversation. So I have some men on my list, but I picked a couple ladies too. And actually, I'd only picked one, but then I just thought of another one while we were talking. So my first one was a crush of mine when I was in
Claire
junior high, high
Danes.
school. She made a couple cracks at it, didn't quite do it. Claire Danes, she couldn't quite.
I thought about her and I was like, Brian's gonna pick her, so I'm just gonna.
My so
But
like
then, as we were talking, I also thought, and she came up in our conversation in the DMs earlier. Jenna Fisher, Pam Beasley from The Office, same thing.
Yeah.
Took a couple cracks. She was in Walk Hard. She had a couple
I'll
movies,
pass.
but nothing and then she retreated even farther back. She didn't even make it back to TV. She's doing podcasting.
She's
She
doing
took
a
a
podcast
dive
about a
ball.
TV show. Yeah. I mean, the other one I would argue is Daenerys Targaryen. It's kind of the
Yeah,
same.
as
scope.
yet to be seen. Like I wouldn't 100% count
Dude,
her out.
they've given her
yet,
so
but
many
she's getting there,
opportunities.
yeah.
Me Before You is a very touching romance movie.
They've given her 2 tempo movies, and both have gone
With Spark.
What were the
sideways.
two?
Solo and
yeah,
Terminator.
Solo, I forgot.
Well, they killed her in Solo, so...
No, she escaped.
Oh, no, she becomes like the head of the bad guys.
Oh, yeah, then they just gave up on her.
Yeah. They were like,
I don't
we're
know.
setting up the sequel, bitches.
She was set up to be like the second in command to Darth Maul, which unless they're going to get into that in the Andor show or something, but
I think
I'll
the
never
problem with
I think they're just
her...
going to abandon everything from Solo, honestly.
I think the issue with her, like, in, like, trying to be a movie star and actor is she was good in these, like, I don't want to call them full rom-coms, these, like, romantic movies, and did that lead, and, like, you watch and you're like, oh, I get it. And then, except for when she was playing Daenerys, which she played really well, she had, like, the Michelle Rodriguez effect. I'm like, I don't believe you as a tough person in any other role.
They shouldn't.
Well, definitely, like, when they tried to make her Sarah Connor, she legitimately looked like a little girl, like,
Yeah.
being dressed up. Sarah Connor, like, you can't convince me.
Yeah, they set her up to fail.
I also think she has her money, to be quite honest with you, because she was asked about Game of Thrones stuff, like with the new House of Dragon. She was like, basically gave the answer, I have no interest to ever return to that. I am done. I'm good.
She and the bald dude were very vocal about how shitty that last season were.
Yeah.
Like every time they would ask them about it, their faces would be like
Varys? Bald guys?
Yeah, Varys.
Yeah.
I
can't really answer.
I did have one more pick that I wanted to say because I know this one would be a pick that's close to TJ's heart. Guy who never quite broke out, and it literally you can almost pinpoint down to a single decision that was out of his control because of contracts. I'm talking about Mr. Blue Bloods himself, Tom Selleck.
I wrote Tom Selleck down.
Because he could have been Indiana Jones, but they wouldn't let him out of his Magnum contract to do it, and he got locked in. And so Harrison Ford, the rest is history.
Hey, come on, man! 3 men and a baby.
3 men and a little lady, Friends.
Come on, the Jesse whatever. I'm an old cop movies, Jesse Kelly or whatever his name.
Oh, we gotta talk about Friends again.
Hey, Cop and a half. You better get it right.
That's not even the same guy.
That's crazy. So he was
the same guy. Cop and a half.
Cop and a half is Burt Reynolds.
Huh.
Cancel Joe.
Come on, Joe.
I got a blindness for hairy
blindness
for hairy men with mustaches.
All right, we got another topic. Is that it?
I'm thirsty. I'm gonna drink my Crystal Geyser Natural Alpine Sparkling Water.
It's Geyser.
Are we endorsed now?
Well, we're some plugs, some really nice product placement for
topic.
Shiner Box seasonal beer.
So we watched The Wizard. I don't know if we said that already, multiple times by now, and that movie is
good.
1 hour and 40-minute commercial for multiple things, not only Nintendo. There's multiple things that occur and throughout that movie where I think the budget was 99% product placements. Like nobody put anything in there from their like no executive producer put any money. There was just
actual dollars were in the budget. It was all advertising.
This is the most frugal movie ever made.
It's all paid for by Nintendo.
All paid for by Nintendo. Just to promote Super Mario 3. I wanted to talk to you guys about product placement in the movie. Good, bad, funny, weird, whatever the case may be. TJ.
Oh, I mean, the one that I remember as a kid that to this day, I wish I can probably find it on eBay, but they went real hard with. Tiger was the brand. Remember the handheld games?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure Tiger ran this one too. It was from Home Alone 2, the fucking Talk Boy.
That was by Tiger. Boy.
I wanted that in the worst way. The movie came out Christmas time, as most people know, and when that hit, every fucking kid had to have it. I had the cousin who had every fucking thing. He got it. Obviously, it was a piece of shit because you record something, it would just come out like, and it would, but you loved it. It was the talk.
It reminded me of like the Fisher Price. You ever had one of those brown tape recorders when you were a kid that was like play your little baby tapes and stuff? It had basically the capabilities of one of those.
They're just cool and sleek.
But in the movie, man, the audio is crisp.
In the movie, it's so good you can fool a bellhop into
through a payphone.
I don't know, what is the plot of that movie again?
Through a payphone off of a New York street.
Yeah.
And the sound was like, I don't know, like a brand new TV today. Like this, it was so loud. It was like
super loud.
I can always
so loud that it would scare a pizza boy away.
The commercials for the Talk Boy were awesome. It was always like a little kid like getting his sister and like tricking her, or recording her in the shower and then embarrassing her later. And I remember the commercials very, very specifically.
Oh, that's a great pick.
Fucking got me.
That's better than mine because I didn't do anything that's that tied in, and that's like this movie. You picked. I just did like. We all know that the fucking Transformers movies have been terrible for product placement all around, always. Mm-hmm. But in the very first movie, there was one that I just enjoyed. It was dumb, but it's in the end when they're using the Energon Cube is turning basically everything into a robot, and it turned a Mountain Dew machine into a robot, and then it like basically had like a Gatling gun of cans, and I think it just tapped into that thing where in Maximum Overdrive where that coach gets shot with the can, and it was like my mind made the natural connection that you enjoy these two things. You like to see a full can of soda get fired at somebody at speed, and so that one worked on me despite how bad those movies are and how much worse the product placement got even after that, where you had like Marky Mark breaking open a beer and be like basically looking into camera while he drank it and shit.
Did you go out and drink? Did you go out and get a soda?
Oh, I don't drink Mountain Dew. That's trash. I would, to be fair, I would drink a Code Red.
Because this isn't my pick, but you just reminded me of the product placement of Dr. Pepper in Spider-Man, the first one, when she's using them to practice web shooting, and like I probably drank so much fucking Dr. Pepper that year. But like they were cool cans too. They put them on it, and like that wasn't my pick. But
there was one I don't even remember what soda it was anymore or what the promotion was. But there's definitely one I can remember where there was like a thing printed on the bottom of the can, so you had to drink the can and then look in it to see if there was like
National Treasure.
Yeah,
I don't know. Product placement works on me really well. Like we watched Survivor once, and I had to eat Outback that night. That was recent, so I'm gonna stick with food with that one, and just the clear classic Howard and Kumar Go to White Castle. I'm fortunate. Yeah. I live in New Jersey. We have White Castles pretty accessible.
Me too.
And once again another one where I remember the fucking year that was released. I was pretty young, and friend's brother going to get a case of White Castle because he had a car, bring it home, eat it. And then you watch the movie, and then you want White Castle too.
You know what movie me and my wife did that we basically brought home like a buffet of McDonald's to watch The Founder. You know, you're gonna want McDonald's. You sit down to watch The Founder, so just get set.
Every time the cheeseburger or something.
Yeah, get a couple of fucking Big Macs, get some fries, get some shakes. Chill out with Michael Keaton for a little while.
That's pretty actually great. Yeah, I think food product placement works.
It worked ahead of time on me. It's like I just knew what the movie was about. I was like, well, I'm gonna have to get McDonald's then.
I have a weird.
I hadn't seen a frame.
I don't know if anyone can agree with me on this one. I'm just gonna put it out there. Every time I watch, are you already disagreeing now, Yusuf? Oh, you're
no.
Spaceballs. Every time I see Pizza the Hut. I do get a little hungry.
CJ, that's the most unappealing pizza.
When I see Pizza Hut, I think I'm like, I want to go at him like John Candy in The Great Outdoors. Like, if I finish Pizza the Hut, what do I win?
You know what's the most unappealing pizza in movie, and it's supposed to be appealing, is the intro to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Oh, yeah.
Where I think it's a Domino's, but everyone's eating pizza, and it's like so stretchy, and it's like, you're in New York. Why are you advertising Domino's this heavily?
Yeah.
I don't know. Product placement works, guys. I feel like we could rattle off a billion of them. I mean, there's iconic ones too.
Go ahead.
I got one. iRobot with the Converse.
Converse, yeah.
There's even a scene where he's like unboxing them. Like he has the box, he unboxes them like a fucking YouTuber.
They're
He wears it throughout the entire fucking movie. Multiple people be like, "Oh, I like your kicks." Oh, I like your shoes. And
So
it's
funny.
like we're in the future. Why the fuck are we so obsessed with Converse? Like they have a fucking robot servant, but everybody's obsessed with his fucking shoes.
When his grandma asked him about them, he says they're vintage 2004, dog. It's 2036. It's 2036 in iRobot. Why do I know those numbers? I don't know. I saw that movie way too many times in theaters.
But to me, like I know that people tend to like bitch and moan about James Bond drinking a Heineken. But to me, the worst one was Batman versus Superman, when Batman, Bruce Wayne, a billionaire, gets in a Jeep Renegade to drive through.
Yeah,
I had a Jeep Renegade. Like
Audi had a tie-in with Alien Covenant. I was like, what the fuck is this?
For me, it's definitely fucking not worse, but one that pissed me off was with the Mercedes in Jurassic World. The way it's fucking angled and shot. I'm like, it goes through those trees, and I'm like, this is the commercial.
Yeah. That's the worst when you're like watching a movie and it's fine to have like Folgers in the background or stuff like that fucking meld into the background, even though you're like, okay,
because it makes the movie feel like it takes place in the real world. Stuff like that makes it feel authentic.
The
a lot of times when I see fake products, that takes me out. I'm like, oh, we're in a movie. Like, you know what I mean? When they make a point to like
go out of their way,
like, I'm looking up something on Smoogle, you know, it's like, okay, well, great. So that's fake as shit.
But when they go out of their way to like fucking shoot an actual commercial inside of, like, I don't remember the movie right now, honestly, but me and
Don Cucino.
No, the king of it all is the Power Rangers movie with the fucking Krispy Kremes. Where she walks in like the middle of like building wreckage and like eats a Krispy Kreme and
they
like looks
fight inside of a Krispy Kreme.
I like that movie.
I'll tell you another one that I don't know if anyone remembers this one. It's a really simple, but it's just the opening scene of The Watch, but it takes place in the Costco with a security guard. And he's just like everything I'd want to do if I was a security guard of a Costco, where he like takes a forklift, puts a recliner in front of all the TVs. He watches Wild Things while just drinking vodka and smoking the joint. It's like the best thing when then he gets his head ripped off.
I watched that recently.
Oh, dude.
That's actually
Me
like
too. It was not that great. But I honestly forgot it at all.
It's fine background noise. Yeah, TJ, that's fucking great. That's kind of also like Employee of the Month, right? Like the Costco workers, like, and then you see all of them like watching TV and shit.
All right, let's do the Wizard.
Well, wait. Yeah, okay.
I mean, I felt like we've done this topic before, and we did a good job of not repeating some of the classics.
Yeah.
Say them for anybody that's watching who thinks we're stupid.
I mean, the Matrix Nokia phone. My dad had a similar like Motorola that had like a little flip down, but it wasn't the cool like, the thing came out.
I was gonna say the joke in Wayne's World is one that's like obvious. Everybody loves that.
The Internship, which is just a Google masturbation.
Taco Bell, Demolition Man is a big one.
If you want to watch a really good, a different YouTube show break down a product placement, Red Letter Media's review of Jack and Jill. It's 2 parts. And they go, because there's product placement every fucking second, where Adam Sandler literally picks up a Pepto-Bismol bottle and drinks it. Having said that, the movie Over the Top, which is really similar to The Wizard, someone drinks motor oil and then takes Alka-Seltzer, and that movie's also riddled with weird, and not just motor oil, Valvoline.
Yeah, exactly. It's branded. You see the can, got the can turned. Awesome. All right, yes. Now let's talk about the Wizard.
Oh, should we dive into it now? Well, let's dive into it, guys.
TJ, yes. What's it about, man?
TJ's pick again. Obviously, we are coming off Death Becomes Her, a great movie. But also, we're coming off of a very long one that Joe picked that was rough. So I picked The Wizard for the boys. And I'm not sure if this is anyone's first time,
It
Definitely
was
not.
pretty much my first time.
It may as well have been my first time because
Yeah.
literally all I remember about this movie, I remember going to see it in the theater. I remember the reveal of Mario 3, and I remember walking to the car in the parking lot after the movie was over. That's it. That's the only memory.
I kept waiting for that aha moment where I go like, oh yeah, I have watched that movie. And the only time that happened was when that pedophile kid hunter was
Dude, we
stopped
got
by
that
the
guy out of control.
yeah, no, we'll get there. But was stopped by the 4 truckers. I was like, oh yeah, that movie. That's the only time my brain.
Only thing I remember was the Power Glove scene. I had seen that because it's just been parodied like a billion times
So
in all the YouTube videos about it.
that's
Well,
how
hold on.
I was introduced to it. Is
Oh, yeah.
I made there was a band we liked in like middle school or like high school, and it was called Horse the Band, and they have a song called Birdo, and they make a lot of Nintendo metal, I think they called it. And the intro of that song was the Lucas speech of like, it's the Power Glove, it's so bad. And I remember someone was like, well, you gotta fucking watch this movie. And we did, and we watched it in like 8th grade, but to laugh at it several times because it's so fucking so I have seen this.
So basically, the wizard.
I didn't even know that fucking Christian Slater and Beau Bridges were in it.
Yeah,
I was legit
All-star
and like
cast.
had full parts. Legitimately, I was shocked.
Because they're in
Also-
another movie. They're playing in another movie.
They're completely different movies.
But I also wanted to make a cut of this movie, the first scene of the little boy walking, James Woods, walking down the road like that, and the way the fucking credits go. Wouldn't it be funny if it just cut when the truck picks him off and drives away, just at the end? Because it feels like the ending credits.
They got him.
I was so fucking lost for the first 20 minutes of this movie, and I kept
They
like
did not hold your hand
actively
with this one.
actively waiting to be like, what the fuck is the premise? Why California? What's the plan in
That's the thing,
California?
because this movie's actually
California.
better than you expected it to be because they actually do a thing where they like drop you into the world and let you live in it and then slowly reveal the story, whereas like a dumber movie would just be like plunk you down at the breakfast table. Fred Savage and his dad and his brother would talk about all their problems like they haven't ever discussed them before, like the first time anybody ever thought that they were sad about, oh, remember when our sister died? That was sad. This is a thing we talk about every day.
Only
And I
Jimmy.
didn't like
Only Jimmy.
it felt more natural the way it was revealed.
Hold on. Let's get to the fucking plot.
Set the fucking movie up because I want to talk about the police officer.
Yeah. So
I'm still in the
basically,
beginning of the
wizard-
movie. I'm stuck.
Yeah, let's go through this because there's like just like
So
That's the
much.
thing, you can't do a basic rundown because every time you get to something, we're gonna be like, wait, what about what the fuck?
TJ,
Basically,
what's the premise?
What's the bones, TJ?
There is a split up family, half brothers, Fred Savage. I'm not pretty sure the kid who plays Jimmy Woods, who's a younger kid who is going through some traumatic issues, might be on the spectrum, might not
he's on
be.
the spectrum.
We're not too
This
sure.
movie doesn't know what to say about that, so it doesn't say anything about it.
He's a wizard. He keeps on trying to escape from his one side of the family and go to California. They can't really control him anymore, so they're going to put him in a home. The Fred Savage brother, half brother, decides that he's going to pick up Jimmy because he's having his own problems with the other side of the family, and they're going to go to California. On the way, they come across Jenny Lewis's character. God damn it, it's slipping my mind right now. And they realize that the younger brother going through the traumatic issues
Haley.
on the spectrum is a genius at video games, and they kind of con their way through video games.
Who the
across the country.
that's okay. Yeah, we'll get there. But that's
This kid's a wizard.
I
So
had
it-
so much issues with that plot line. Like that, I think Brian froze, or he's very intrigued by my words.
Oh no!
Well, how
Let's hit pause. Let's hit pause here, and I can edit.
Am I
out.
back?
Oh,
You're
we're
back.
good. We're good. No need
Yeah,
to
we're
edit.
good.
So, can we talk about real quick? I know it's a throwaway line, but one, what the fuck happened to what the fuck happened between the cop and his wife for him to be so pissed that the kid also wants to go to California? He's like, my fucking wife also wants to go to California. But the line that blew my fucking mind was the dispatcher. He's like, oh, I have an address for his mom. She's remarried. She's in. And it's like, why the fuck do you know that she's remarried? Why are we saying this over the radio? What the
See,
fuck
I
is
thought
that
see,
fucking-
that's the thing. That's where you were paying much closer attention. So to me, it was like a reveal of what the family structure was. I was just like, what? So like by the time we get to the middle of the movie when he like Fred Savage tells the whole story, that was like my first. I didn't even know like how they were related. I didn't even realize that they were. I was like,
There's
all right,
They're
I'll
all
piece it
fucking
together, I guess, as
related.
we go. Then I
Well,
was
now
like,
I'm
this
thinking
is better.
about-
It's avant-garde.
Yeah, well, now I'm thinking about how Fred Savage does lay it all out there to the Jenny Lewis character while the kid's sleeping. I'm like, they're sleeping in a junkyard in the back of a car in the middle of fucking nowhere. And like, just like so many things to unpack from this movie. No,
Let's talk about the Jenny Lewis character for a second.
Yo, dude,
Where, like,
what
okay,
the
I know
fuck?
she says her dad, like, she wants the money so that when her dad comes back from where? Where's her dad at?
He's
Truck
a
industry.
trucker. He's just
He's a
So they
trucker.
lived in
Okay.
Vegas, but
So
why
he's
was
on the
she in that
road,
truck
and he
stop?
just leaves his little girl by herself?
yeah.
Why was she at
And
that train
to live
station?
in Reno?
And
her mom
she's
was an actress.
hitchhiking.
I
This
will
is like-
say,
No, she has a bus ticket when we first meet her.
I will
She's not
say
hitchhiking.
this.
She
I
has a
will
bus
say
ticket.
this.
Fred
There
Savage talks
is-
her out.
She also has the wildest line delivery as well, in where she's like, "Where's your mom?" She's like, "Oh, she was a showgirl. She had great legs. She left." What? That's how you
Yeah, she's
describe
like-
your
Just
mom?
like she hightailed it or something. She had
Yeah,
great
but
legs. It's like
okay. What are you 8? What?
Here to
Why are we talking
elaborate.
this?
All right, guys, I have information. I have information. So the director revealed that like they shot so much footage and they had to cut it all down. There was a 2.5 hour cut of it, not an assembly cut. All that footage was released on that Blu-ray, which is in storage for me. And in those cuts, you see more of Corey's home life is more detailed, including agonizing his older brother, mother's emotional issues surrounding Jimmy and her divide of her former family. Nick's alcoholism is explored in initial clips. Trucker Spanky
Nick's
gets
Beau
more
Bridges,
screen
right?
time. Yeah.
I thought that he seemed like they had cut down how like he seemed a little rough, but I was like, it feels like he had more to do and he was more of an asshole, and they cut it down to make him just kind of average.
So there's a fucking cut of this movie which I don't want to watch.
I do.
Which is like double the time.
I shall.
Me either.
I'm gonna.
There's nothing sadder, honestly. There's nothing sadder than hitting play on a movie and going like, "Fuck yeah!" It's 1 hour and 30, 1 hour and 40, and it's feeling like 5 fucking hours. I hit pause midway through this movie, and I was like, "All right, maybe 15 minutes left." It was a full hour left. 30 minutes felt like an hour and change to me.
Yeah, this one, it's weird because like they kind of get the idea to go to the video game thing pretty quick and the idea to hustle people, but then like
Who are these adults?
just
Who
like
are these adults?
they just
Who
kind of
are
like
placing bets?
play
with
around
kids?
for a while, like they
Didn't do nothing. Yeah, they're just playing video games, showcasing all the new
every time they get
variety.
and also like I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, so they are sporadically traveling by occasionally getting a ride to a place just like wherever their people are going.
Miraculously
so
not getting
zigzagging
raped
all
and
over the
murdered.
place.
They got robbed.
They did
got
get fucking
so
robbed
much
by a
money.
bunch of
Sometimes
old
they're just
men.
walking. Sometimes they're traveling by skateboard. And this professional bounty hunter, which by the way, never been more petorific of a job than child bounty hunter.
He said, "My job is to bring in kids.
I
Don't fuck with my money." I was like, "How do you dedicate your life to?"
So I see this character, and first of all, his whole look, the little glasses, the bolo tie, creep. But so I write something down. I'm like, oh, child bounty hunter, what a pedo job. And then they proceed to like lean fully into the most creepy pedophile aspects to the point where he's like grabbing kids he doesn't know, and then when he's to say he's sorry from grabbing that kid, he gives him a little butt pat. I was like,
no, the worst line.
What's wrong with you?
The worst line that man utters is he's in himself, he's fumbled, he's frustrated because he just, she did the thing where it's like he touched my breast. He goes, touch her breast? She doesn't even have breasts.
Oh yes.
Oh no!
What the fuck?
Hi.
It makes me never want to eat a snow cone ever again after that.
It is.
Like, I'm good on this.
It's bad. It's like this layer of the movie that you didn't really need. They needed like some drama to it, but you really just had them like the parents chasing
I
them
was gonna
down.
say, it should have just been Beau Bridges and Christian Slater chasing after him, and with like the separated mom, constantly like haranguing Beau Bridges over the phone about it. You know what I mean? That could have been
or maybe the other dad, the whatever.
Oh, we're talking about. Oh, hold on. I took that name. That dude,
what if he
Chandler Bing's
much
dad.
like Christopher
Chandler
McDonald,
Bing's
legendary.
Let's keep talking about Friends.
Asshole actor. Oh no, I was going to talk about Sopranos. He's Dr. Kennedy on Sopranos.
Oh yeah. No, but
Sam McMurray is that guy's name.
One of the things that really pissed me off was like them counting the money, and those three assholes robbed them, right? And they instantly make the money back. And Fred fucking Savage, the sexual allegation abuser actor, is just counting the money, just walking like, dude, motherfucker, you did not learn anything from your previous.
It's always
like,
I got a fat
5 minutes
wad.
ago.
Let me show you.
And there's like this trope in 80s and 90s movies, and we saw it in 2-1 Fu of the bullies arriving in a pickup truck, just blazing through, and then
even the
guys...
bullies are like 25.
Yeah, what the fuck is happening in this movie?
Yeah, I was like, also I love that this is a world where everyone is interested in competitively betting on video arcade games.
Well, it's over the top.
Arcade games are all exactly the same as the ones you play on a Nintendo. I love when he challenges the two businessmen. First of all, there's two businessmen that are like, I'm going to beat you. You can't do it. And then they go up and challenge him. I was just like, what world are they living in?
It's
now when competitive gaming is a thing, that's not like
that doesn't happen.
It's
and people are taking bets on fucking.
Fred Savage comes up to them and he's like, "It's fine," and they're like, "What's up, motherfucker?" It's like they're ready.
But it's the same thing with
it's Rain Man meets Over the Top.
Yeah, but it's the same thing with that Lucas kid where he has like the little henchman thing. He's like, he's
Toby
good,
Maguire.
but he'll never beat Lucas. And you're like,
dude, Lucas.
Why are you just
Lucas has the body, the face, body, and attitude of a boy that's gonna grow up to have 3 divorces. Right. That's has his whole aura. And he's like, the glove scene was pretty cool.
Can I ask some questions about the competition though?
Yes, go ahead. Who ran that competition, by the way?
So when they get to the
documentary you guys ever watched the documentary about the real Nintendo competition they had? It's like, I think it might be on Netflix or something.
No.
So I was thinking about that as I was watching this.
The real competition, or the competition in this movie, coolly run, coolly shot, I'll say this, but it literally goes from like a preliminary that like anyone could enter. They never signed up to a final immediately of 3 people.
I love that in movies where it's like, oh, they walked into the place at the last minute, so they get to be. I'm sure, like, no, there wasn't any pre-registration fees or anything you had to sign up.
You don't have to go to like qualifying tournaments.
Qualifying tournaments, exactly. If I'm telling you, if they're having this the championship in Los Angeles, then every major city had a qualifying tournament. You know what I mean? Like
you also
and that's something you could have done in your movie is have him move up the ranks and like. Done something in the middle of your movie.
Who the fuck? Who was that person that she kept calling? I was very lost. The guy with the books and why?
Spanky?
What's she calling?
Like the Nintendo Power guy.
Oh.
He was like calling it hints on every type.
That was like the Nintendo hotline you used to be able to call.
But I didn't understand that at all because it really goes against the fucking premise that he's a wizard, so that he touches any game and he's good at it.
Now, hold on, though, but they redeem that. That's the whole thing about the end of the movie. They are presented with a brand new game, and Lucas is good because he's played every game, but he doesn't have the natural talent that Jimmy has, and that's why Jimmy can win on a brand new game.
Yeah, but you know what shook me about that is that while Jimmy, even before he makes the move to do it, even though we both played the game,
Fred Savage and the girl are saying it.
She's like, he's gonna go for the whistle, and they were like, "How do you know?"
The flute. Go for the warp zone.
Go to warp. I don't. Does he ever say whistle before he finds the whistle? Because he's talking about warp, which is thing that's established in Mario games. So I forgive that. But if he actually says the word whistle before, there's no way they could know that.
Hit the star.
I also liked how they found a way to like make Beau Bridges get into video games. Like,
No,
in
that was
some
cool. I
reason.
thought that was like a cute touch there.
Can we?
I was reading the IMDb, like, fun facts, and there weren't really many interesting. It's clearly, like, for the promo of it, like Christian Slater and Beau Bridges, they were like, they didn't like video games before this movie. Now they said they're absolutely really into them. Like,
The Beau Bridges like frantically playing in the
Yes.
hotel room.
There's two
Like, I love
moments
it.
there.
I love it.
I always like the Hollywood version of playing video games, and also Spanky's driving of the fucking truck.
Oh yeah.
okay, I sent
I
you
feel
guys.
like it's also like they just casually like, hey, the hero of your movie takes advantage of this like slow gentleman who drives the truck.
Yeah.
That girl.
I mean,
her whole
they're
perception
already
of
taking
how
advantage
you
of
treat
one.
people- what's her name's whole perception of how you treat people with mental, some sort of mental deficiency is up for discussion because
She's
she
like-
is problematic.
That's
Hey,
one
but
favorite line
she doesn't get scared, bro.
when
She's
when
not
he wins all the
scared.
money and she's like, "This is for you," and he's like, $10, and he's just like, fucking laid in.
Man.
Also, that guy's a returning friend of ours. That's Frank McRae. We saw him in Batteries Not Included.
Oh.
Playing
Also,
piano
I
or
didn't
something
mention
like
it, but Beth Grant showed up earlier in this movie
Yes, she
too.
did.
You always
Who?
shout out to Beth Grant. Another Tu Wong Fu connection right
that.
there.
Shout out to the
She
old
was the
dude.
in one of the diners they stopped in.
Yeah, she's like the one who comes out like, "What's going on over here?" Or whatever.
Shout out to the
I got movie monsters.
Shout out to whom, Yusuf?
the old dude. The old dude has that seems some major shit in his life, and where Beau Bridges is just destroying the car. They're like doing crash derbies, and he's just at the Porsche, just like
Watching.
sipping his coke, and he's just like, yeah,
I
like
thought you
he's
were gonna talk about
murdering.
the guy at the pool who's like the old dude who's standing there in like his little Speedo with his butt cheeks hanging out, just like
Yeah, that was weird.
casually in the background. That guy definitely caught my attention.
And what about the fucking tow truck company? They're legit just stealing cars off the
We're
road.
just like, just take that car and tow it to a dump.
And instantly fucking scrapped it for
Scrapped
parts.
it,
Boom, quick. They were just
stripped it
stripping
in
it.
what had to be less than an hour because like immediately they saw the truck pulling away, so they immediately would have gotten a ride to wherever that truck was going. So that there's no like they had to strip that car like immediately.
And then
Well,
Beau
that's the
Bridges
thing,
just
they had to
plays a
keep coming
video
up with
game.
reasons for Beau Bridges and Christian Slater not to instantly catch them because a couple of kids on foot or on a skateboard, you got grown adults in a car. I was like, the first night they're gonna pass them, and then they're gonna be ahead of where they're not even gonna
Yeah.
know. They're gonna be looking for the kids in a place they haven't even got to yet.
I don't know where it starts. This road
It's-
trip. Where is it? Utah?
In Utah.
Yeah, in Utah. It's like 500 miles, something like that, 600 miles. They make a point like,
So it definitely says it then.
Right.
But also,
Like-
they get to California and they're doing that pool, which is off. There's tons of uncomfortable scenes. It being a fucking 80s, late 80s, early 90s movie. But the game room casino thing with like the child waitresses.
Yeah,
And,
the
Yes.
child was selling like candy cigarettes.
My wife was barely watching that movie. She was like laying next to me on her phone, and she happens to look up during that scene. She's like, "What the fuck is happening in this movie? Was that a child?"
The thing is, it's so fucking wild though, and that's why like I don't mind watching this movie because there's that shit in it. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
you
was
like
that?
you like little girl waitress? What the fuck are you saying, Joe?
Yeah, but other
Really
waitresses, what other
connected to that
kind of
child bounty hunter character.
what other kind of waitresses are there? Like it just has so many question marks. Even you just there's a kid there. No, let me grab him. Every fucking kid.
There's a lot of kids
Oh, yeah,
driving.
he just yokes that kid up
I
and
was-
gives him a little butt pat for his trouble. That shit weird.
I was also very worried by the people that ran the actual tournament. Like the guy that checked them in was like a legit psychopath, screaming at them like, "Get in there!"
the guy, the host looked like he was gonna have a stroke.
Yeah, he was like, "Come, my little pretties," and I was like, "What is the tone of this?"
I think he's a video game voice guy, which they did with a lot of different extras in this. But also, we were talking about Nintendo, and they did a whole like backlot run through of Universal too, where they did the King Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see a lot of the monsters like
Yeah.
I did that in
Frankenstein's chase.
I
This
did
was
that in
definitely a commercial for Universal Studios.
yeah, I did that when I was a kid in Orlando. I remember the King Kong one. That was a shit.
Dude, like the earthquake fucking ride and shit.
Also.
Whatever
Yeah,
that was.
Frankenstein, see the wolf.
Now, I
Man,
know
see a
we've
bunch
been
of Universal
giving
characters running around.
Beau Bridges a lot of shit here. But the mother, terrible mother, and the assumedly boyfriend's stepdad, did she never say, "Oh, I had a daughter, like maybe a little over a year ago, my daughter passed away."
Right, it hasn't.
Maybe that's
it
why
can't
my
have
son
been
is
very
struggling.
long because the picture kids, they're about the same age.
So
Yeah.
that's my so here's
And they were
okay, now,
twins too.
this is
So that's
this is
even
what
more
fucking-
traumatic for the
This
kid.
is what drove me crazy by the end of the movie is he keeps saying California, of course, and like you guys don't remember that trip you took? Let's just say a year and a half ago.
A year and a half ago, you guys went to
To
California, probably like
California?
a week before she died or
You don't
something.
you don't remember that? You like everyone except for James Woods. I won't call him Jimmy. I'll call him the actor James Woods.
Right.
Is just like daughter never. I got 3 other brothers. Fuck 'em.
Yeah, but the other thing that fucked me up about that too is also some of Beau Bridges' best acting, where he's like, "Come on, Jim," while he's crying. But the mom at that point, everyone's there. The stepdad, mom, Beau Bridges, Christian Slater, Fred Savage, even little girl, which I don't know if they adopted her or something.
That's my final note. Where are they taking that girl?
but she just turns to Beau Bridges, the mom, and just goes, "Sam, get our boys and go home." And I was like, I don't know if he wants to get back with you, if you're just insinuating you guys are back together. Like, there's something where she's like, just take our boys and go home. And I'm like, what about the other guy? Is he just out of the picture? Like, I know he's an asshole in the movie, but the kid was
They're
driving.
a trouble now. They're a trouble.
It
I don't know.
it's
The movie's weird. It's slow, but I laughed a lot though. but
Yeah.
I laughed at it, not with it. That's the difference. I think
yeah.
Brian didn't like it. He left.
For like I don't know. It's such a weird movie because it's like the video game tournament.
Because you always wanted to go to a video game tournament.
That one at Universal Studios looks fucking sweet.
It did look sweet. And they did have that weird thing where they had a bunch of little screens in the beginning for the prelims.
Mm-hmm.
Then everyone was
the
going,
way it
"Oh,
seemed
shucks."
from that documentary I watched, it's like everybody played little screens, and then at the end it was like 3 people, similar to that. But they had like a disc that had a bunch of games on it, and basically you had to have the highest score on all the games together to win.
Oh, okay. I know there's like the rarest like NES game you could get is like there's only like 4 of them in existence. Is like the awarded Goldit Track and Field at one of those competitions.
I've seen those ones too of like where they have the cartridge from those competitions with multiple games on it. Those ones are worth a lot too because there's only so many of them made and stuff.
Let's go to the ratings fair.
Ratings phase.
Brian.
Like I said, I had not seen this, and man, I've seen a lot of bad kids movies, boy. Whoo, howdy. This one is not nearly as bad as I was expecting it to be. Like, I was coming in a little worried, but it actually, I think, like, aside from, it's like the little monsters thing where, like, yeah, it's a little insensitive, and, like, the language doesn't hold up in the way, certain things that weren't important, like they should have been back then, like, it wasn't right, but it was the way it was, and, so there's that stuff, but like overall, it's definitely not. I mean, I'm not gonna go crazy on this. I would give this like 5.5. Tanuki Mario feathers or whatever. But again, like we come into a kids movie from the '80s. We've been burned on this show and just in my life so many times. This was a pleasant surprise.
Fine.
Oh yeah,
Joe.
Yeah, I'm with Brian, and like I said, there's a lane for me to watch this movie again, which is like drink beers, laugh at it, have like I can make a fun drinking game out of this movie.
Like you could watch that long cut if you drank every time they said like Nintendo or something.
Yeah,
pick something that works, and
Take a shot every time he says California.
I mean, like, yeah, I'm gonna be right here with like I don't know, 3.7 fucking hawk hauling trucks. Because this is in the over the top universe. I'm convinced. Because you look at one, if you looked at one of those trucker trucks, they had the hawk hauling on the side.
What if Sylvester Stallone was the father of Haley?
That would make sense because he is a piece of shit.
He only cares about his son. He doesn't give a shit about his son.
Fucking good.
Because guess what? Lincoln Hawk is a piece of shit. So I get it.
I did have to say, we didn't call it out, but it is one of the worst tropes in movie history is autism as a superpower. Like, we didn't really talk a lot about it. It's a really stupid... because they don't necessarily go out of their way to say he has autism, and maybe it's like more PTSD. It kind of seems like it might be a little more PTSD-ish.
I think it's a mix of the two.
They don't, but they treat it like autism throughout most of the movie, whether it is or isn't. So I would definitely say this falls in that category of like, so it should be at least noted that, that's bad. Don't do
this
that.
This came out the same year as Rain Man, too. I mean.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like Rain Man for kids. I can see that.
Rain Man for kids. Yeah, this is. I had pacing issues with it. A lot of pacing issues with it, but I laughed a lot at it for sure, and I was very confused. A lot of weird decisions in this movie, and I kept just saying, "The fuck are these kids doing?" over and over. But it was not the worst thing TJ has picked by a mile. 4.3 Power Gloves.
They're so bad.
I'm very self-aware. I know this movie is not good. You know I like it. And old TJ might not have been that way. So I'm going to give this a clean 4.8. Fred Savage.
You're the highest one.
Carrying a skateboard, but doesn't know how to skateboard.
He does he skateboard? I don't even remember seeing
him skateboard. He like sit on it once, ride it on a highway.
And this is pre Bart Simpson. So like,
no, it's been height of Bart. So 88, 89. Sweet.
No,
stuff.
But that's like Tracy Ullman Bart Simpson.
Okay, first season's 88 though.
No.
Isn't it?
Brian, you're up.
Brian, trivia or pick one.
Oh, I feel like we've run long enough. It's a long enough episode. I have a 2-rounder where the first round, the winner picks from 3 genres of movies I have choices. So I don't want to get into that yet. Let's save that. Let's just go with, I've left action classics to Yusef more often than not, but I'd like to bring one in that it's been too long since I've watched it, and it's been on my list for actually quite some time. So let's watch John Woo's I almost said Hard Target. Ooh, scary. Hard Boiled.
Oh, let's fucking go.
We watched Christian Slater, and I got John Woo, I got Christian Slater in my mind. I'm sorry. No Hard Target. That's not even the same movie. I'm thinking about Broken Arrow. I'm way off the mark. Way off.
No wonder you left it to me, Brian.
Anyway, let's watch Hard Boiled.
Yeah, Hard Boiled.
Let's fucking do it.
First time.
All right, where can people find you, Brian?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter. Hopefully, being more eloquent than that, and knowing what movies star what's a Jean-Claude movie, what's a Christian Slater movie. Poof, terrible. At Hercules.
Brian appears on the cover. Joe.
Oh, baby.
You can find me at Flyover State of Fear, especially leading into this spooky season of the fall. We'll have some same episode pace, same everything, and you can find me on Chendango 1. So where can the people find you, TJ?
You guys are on Flyover State of Film YouTube right now. You guys will find me at TJ Dex on Twitter. Usually pissing people off, that's what I do. Love y'all.
Yeah, fun fact: Fred Savage is a piece of shit. Bye.
Bye.